Hello and welcome. The truism, information is power, cannot be worn thin, no matter how often we say it and you hear it. Thus, the need to be constantly informed and to have a means of getting the right information at the right time and at the right place. With that as a preamble, Border Information Centers, BICs, will be the focus of today's program. As the expression goes these days, you really do not have to expend a huge amount of brain matter to tie in the utility of BICs promoted by Nigerian Shippers Council to the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. More on the nexus in the course of the program. We shall also be joining Abike Idowu for happenings on the Nigerian and international maritime scenes. Do stay with us as we take a short break.
Nigerian Shippers Council, they to serve you well. No matter the problem, we go solve them for you.
Yes, so the Nigerian Shippers Council, they feel in a parole now for every level. And as soon as goods, they move from port A, go enter port B with a measure within on a need. For the Nigerian Shippers Council, we don't sharp proper to fit hear you wella, work with you wella, and help you fit serve your customers them better, no matter where them day. As we country port economic regulator, the Nigerian Shippers Council get every now to fit make government consider the problem where shippers them they face. Visit we office for number 4 or to buy your daily show your daily lane. Papa email us for nsc@shipperscouncil.gov.ng. We website now www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
For you, we dey gidigba,
Nigerian Shippers Council with a meeting now for the port of Nani.
Welcome back to The Shipper, brought to you by the nation's port economic regulator, Nigerian Shippers Council. My name is Rekia Zikru Yagoyaju. Border Information Centers, BICs, play a vital role in facilitating trade and ensuring efficient movement of goods across borders. These centers serve as one-stop information hubs, guiding shippers and stakeholders through the complexities of international trade and procedures. Every country in AfCFTA will have to do its bit to ensure that the integration of trade on the continent is successful. BICs are part of Nigeria's contribution towards the takeoff of AfCFTA. Out of cross-border trade volumes of close to 12 billion naira, of which total exports stood at 6.3 billion naira, total imports amounted to 5.3 billion naira, as at the fourth quarter of 2022, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Those are very small numbers in terms of the volumes that can be recorded when AfCFTA takes off.
With this introduction of these joint borders, it has brought about development and some level of exposure to both border communities.
The border has created a lot of employment. It has made our young youths to be engaged in activities, because at the break of the day, you wake up from your bed, you go to the borders, either you cross to the borders, and you see one or two things happening that you get yourself engaged. We're not idle. So give us good employment.
The youth are maintaining themselves because what they have, they don't need to abuse it. It is our geographical entitlement for the youth. So they behave calm. They shun all manner of cultism. They focus to see how they end up their living. So it is a very welcome development to the youth.
Having heard from the public, Let's now hand over the reins to Lucy Nyambi as she presents the program with reports brought back by Shippers correspondents Adishino Abiodun and Abike Idowu.
Border Information Center, BIC, is a project carried out in conjunction with the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, and West Africa Trade Hub, WATH, to give information to cross-border traders on what they need to know to effectively carry out seamless trade. The project is also a means of formalizing the informal cross-border trade and blocking of associated revenue leakages. The BIC was established to resolve the issues that come up during operations at the border crossings, which could constitute obstacles to trade and integration in West Africa. The Border Information Center provides all information needed by stakeholders to help importers and exporters reduce the costs and delays associated with import and export transactions. The day-to-day activities at the Border Information Centers, amongst other things, include information dissemination, collection of trade statistics, identifying causes of delays at the border in order for the necessary action to be taken, and collaboration with border agencies to promote cross-border trade. ICOC Inform Border was commissioned in 2021, and this informed the establishment of a BIC in this location of the South-South region. Adora Nwonu, Deputy Director, Trade Services, Nigerian Shippers Council, further throws more light onto the reason for their establishment and the many benefits to both cross-border traders and their associated organizations.
The USAID conducted a gap analysis, and of course the result emanating from that analysis they conducted across countries exposed the fact that there were shortfalls in different countries in the implementation of the ETLS. So that's what gave rise to the BIC, because based on the shortfalls that were observed, what they now did was to set up, BICs across high traffic, when I mean high traffic route corridors across the region. So the idea was for it to, to offer some support to traders across the region at those borders. So that's what brought about the BIC. So being able to support traders, the business community in that area. So we get regular feedbacks. And the Border Information Center is also a place where you can get statistics, data. That's part of, the relevance of the BICs. So that is also giving us access to data. Now we get periodic updates on export, particularly export. Statistics regarding export, what goods have been taken out, what are the highly exported goods. Now we can tell you what are the highly exported goods, non-oil products. We can say that. So as time goes on, we're also envisaging that the BICs will be a one-stop shop for trade statistics, particularly cross-border trade. We want to be able to support the nation economically, because this is an economic agency. So we must be able to support them with trade data, valuable trade data, real-time trade data. So that's what we hope will happen in the near future.
Collins Boaz, officer in charge of ICOC Inform Border Information Center, while giving a breakdown of activities at the border, gave an insight into how they gather information, who they disseminate it to, and some challenges which they face at the Border Information Center.
The accuracy is very, very important. Information is key, so it has to be treated with all sense of seriousness. By virtue of our activity in the border here, our informations, they are accurate and they are derived from the field. Export and import that comes to the border premises. That's how we generate our information. They are accurate because these informations have been given to stakeholders who approach the council to know the volume of trade that takes place in the border premises here. BIC has been up and doing, providing relevant information to stakeholders upon inquiry and guidelines as the case may be.
The clan head of Adjacent Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Ntufong Anthony, gave an elaborate explanation of the value of the Border Information Center to his and surrounding communities. He also spoke on their major challenges in an interview granted to the Shippers correspondent.
Just after this, my house, you see a cocoa store there. They load and they were going to come. They intercepted them, the baggage, and the checkpoint, and they asked them to pay. from their own local community will begin to pay. So that is a problem we're suffering. It's a serious one. And the multiple of checkpoints, they are too much. You see, you have this joint baggage. You have one in Kaleme, that is by Ikom. You come down inside after technical college or by the technical college junction, they are also mounted there. This same road. So if you access from there, you get here, you'll be assessed the same way. So that is the problem we're passing through. And at all time, when the youth will come out, calm them down. I say we are talking with the government to see how this thing can curtail. Otherwise, they will rise up and it will not be good for us.
Mr. Siyina Rumans, National Vice President, Ecom Chamber of Commerce and Industry, spoke about the high volume of agricultural goods traded with the neighboring country and the need for the government to look into their issues.
We are amongst the same community that trades on the same goods because we see between Cameroon and Nigeria, you find that there are common languages, common families, with only the artificial divide. So lots of trade, especially from Nigeria to the Cameroon. And most of them are from the manufacturing sector. I believe that more has to be done, especially in capturing what the trade, especially the official functions of the trade between the borders. And I believe if we do that, Nigeria will be enjoying a robust revenue from the cross-border trade. And those that are supposed to be done officially within the trade corridor and they are supposed to be free will be acknowledged. But now we need to be able to enhance that status with the cross-border trade and the establishment and the commissioning of the corridor, the trade corridor from the transatlantic border trade. And I believe if we do that, it will be for the benefit of both countries, especially Nigeria, to be able to make sure that most of these trade are recorded and then the status will be enhanced where revenue also comes to the country. Most of the manufactured goods from Nigeria. And we strongly believe that it adds to the economy of this country, it adds to the GDP, it adds to productivity in terms of manufacturing. And then you find out that if I might use one thing, look at the entire tiles, the tiling sector for housing, cement and everything comes from Nigeria. And that's kind of a huge investment for the sector that is involved in it. And that means there's a larger market in the Cameroon sector.
Multiple checkpoints hamper the free flow of goods and traders. This was amongst Mr. Godwin Uku, National Vice President, Cocoa Association of Nigeria's submissions, in an interview in which he stressed the need for government's presence to provide many basic amenities, especially electricity and roads.
The chambers of commerce will only talk. The chambers of commerce don't make the rules. The Commerce of Project can only appeal to government the same way we are appealing to government as we speak today. That this thing is actually hindering businesses. It's actually making people not to move freely as they ought to do. We don't have the power to remove them from the roads. We are only advocating, trying to see how government should help us. The last time we have our program here, we talked about power. You can imagine that Ecom as it is, we don't have NEPA. All we do is that we run generators 24 hours. And it's actually not making the town to grow. There are a lot of people who are supposed to do good businesses that they cannot do it because of no power. Here in Ecom, if we see lights once in 3 months, you see the way children will be shouting. You know this Nigerian syndrome of NEPA. It's even worse in Ecom than other parts of the country. So it's really pathetic. We can only ask government to help us do it. We can't do it ourselves. That is the problem we have. So we are just struggling. Here where we are, if you want to build a house around this vicinity, you create your route. You look for solar yourself. You create your route to get to where you're staying. You have to create power yourself, probably get solar lights. Do you understand? Even when you're doing your business. But you must pay tax. You pay tax for things that government does not even provide for you. You are not even sure of the next minute when you have to do with kidnapping or any other crime. You're not sure. So I think this part of the state, sometimes they refer us to Cameroon. I think we belong to Cameroon because the government presence is really not here. But I know we are not Cameroonians. We are Nigerians. We are struggling on our own. But government to equally look at us too and see how they help us solve our problems.
Director, Consumer Affairs Department, Nigerian Shippers Council, Chief Kajutan Agu, outlined factors which affect cross-border trade. He shed light on the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme.
ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme. These are measures that are put in place to encourage free flow of goods and persons, within the ECOWAS country. A typical example is that if I'm going to Senegal, I can just pick my passport and go to Senegal without asking for visa from the Senegalese embassy. These are one of the content, of that instrument. Then on the ETLS is supposed to, encourage the customs. The processes and procedure, custom procedure in Nigeria should be the same as custom procedure in Cote d'Ivoire. It should be the same as custom procedure, in Ghana. So that after certain number of years, the entire custom, will merge and become one. And you are aware that in terms of also vehicle moving across borders, they have to also establish the same standard. There's what we call interstate road transit, where vehicles are equally allowed to move across borders, with ease, nobody disturbing them. Take for instance now, if maybe I want to export from Nigeria to Ghana, our national guarantor here in Nigeria is Nexim Bank. So Nexim Bank is supposed to issue a bond showing that this consignment is moving from Lagos, to Accra. So as it is passing through Benin Republic and Togo, nobody will disturb it. It moves unhindered until it gets to destination. So it's only at that destination that the custom will come and confirm that what was loaded in Nigeria was what being received in Ghana. All these processes are put in place to encourage trade. They are put in place to encourage integration. And they are also put in place, so that there will also be movement of people, movement of trucks, movement of goods within the region. The essence is that we need to trade among ourselves. When we trade among ourselves, it is going to create wealth for our own people, because the more you trade, you understand, the more you create wealth. The more you trade, the more you create employment. Go to my 12, you discover that sometimes you see heaps of tomato that get spoiled. So if there are markets where you can move this tomato, those people producing the tomato, they are going to earn more income. And when they now earn more income, they will have the wherewithal, to go into more production. When they go into more production, they all equally need to hire more hand to assist them in the production. So that is a way of creating wealth within the sub-region.
And there you have it, folks. Border information centers play a vital role in cross-border trade, providing essential services that streamline trade processes. They are strategically located, adding value to the entire border ecosystem. However, they do encounter challenges that need to be addressed for smoother operations. We hope this episode has provided valuable insights into the world of border information centers. Let's now join Abike Idowu for a quick peek into the local and international maritime scenes.
Nigerian Shippers Council, NSC, recently participated in the 18th Abuja International Trade Fair and Exhibition organized by the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The trade fair, themed Sustainable Financing and Taxation, featured numerous government agencies including Nigerian Ports Authority, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, and others. The Council's exhibition stand saw a significant increase in the number of visitors, up by 80% compared to last year, providing a platform for interaction with stakeholders and showcasing the Council's statutory activities and programs.
Many a times, most shippers don't use the LC. They just ship goods, hoping that, yes, my cousin or brother is over there. You understand? So we usually advise whatever you do, try as much to be transparent and sincere. If it's the Form M you want to use the Form M. If it's the LC you want to use the L. If it's cash against document, there's cash against document. So there are clauses about shipping and transactions that you can want to adhere to. But majorly, let there be an agreement between you and your buyer.
In an interview, shippers advocated for rail connectivity to dry ports and more involvement from the council in future trade fairs.
Well, honestly, Shippers Council, you are trying, and I'm happy to see you at the Abuja International Trade Fair. It shows that you are trying to see how you can get in touch with your stakeholders. The kind of briefing I've gotten, the way we have been received, is really very impressive. We have a lot of exporters that are experiencing issues at the port. For instance, somebody that wants to export yam, it takes a very long time for the yam maybe to leave to United States. So what we are saying is that we should try and get these containers out of the port as soon as possible. And that's why we need stakeholder engagement with exporters of small and medium enterprises, with the Shippers Council, so that from time to time, maybe on quarterly basis, we can iron out issues. You can always be getting feedback from us. And it's because of lack of this discussion. That is why so many exporters are losing money in millions and in billions.
Observations and recommendations included the need to revive Shippers Day and acquire additional equipment and amenities for future events. We continue to urge stakeholders within the maritime sector to explore our website www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng for an all-inclusive information about our services and to submit any grievances they may have. Next is our complaints register for the week 12 November to 18th November 2023. During this period, we received a total of 7 complaints. 3 have been resolved, while 4 are ongoing investigations. The type of complaints include cargo disputes, illegal activities, service inefficiency, breach of contract, and communication issues. Now, let me bring you up to speed with developments in the global maritime industry. Alsia Marine and Abu Dhabi Maritime have unveiled the world's first 3D printed water taxi in the UAE, measuring 11.98 meters and made from 67% recycled material. This groundbreaking achievement marks a significant stride in sustainable transportation and reflects the firm's dedication to eco-conscious engineering practices. The collaboration aims to revolutionize maritime transportation, emphasizing sustainability and inclusivity. A memorandum of understanding signed last year between the two entities focuses on future-oriented innovations, including eco-drive systems for public transport and maritime surveillance. Neptune Marine, a Dutch marine solutions provider, has clinched the prestigious Ship of the Year Award 2023 for its revolutionary canopy vessel. This double-propelled open-top roll-on or roll-off ship features wind-assisted marine propulsion, marking a significant stride in decarbonizing industrial shipping. Canopy, owned by Alizé, integrates wind and diesel power, reducing fuel consumption by 30%. Measuring 121 meters in length, the vessel, designed to transport Ariane rocket components, exemplifies Dutch maritime excellence and underscores Neptune Marine's dedication to advancing sustainable marine transportation. And that's it on Tidbits for this week. Till next time.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council. We meet you at the port of your needs.
And thank you for joining us on The Shipper. It's been an absolute pleasure putting this program together for you, but the greater pleasure always is in having you join us. Do join us again next week for another exciting episode of The Shipper, and have a swimmingly great week ahead.